Yeah, hi guys. Right, if you're fitting a RJ45 Ethernet connection, bit of advice: make the wires a lot long, strip back a lot more insulation than you think you're going to need. Because what you could do then, rather than just cutting a bit off and trying to fiddle around getting them all in at once, you can thread it through like you've got there. And what you do then, once you've got them all in, you can pull it up rather than. Well, I did the first time I did one of these without without actually reading up about it or thinking about it. I just did it for I'll figure it out. And I was trying to focus. I just cut enough insulation off. Didn't yeah, basically cut plenty off. It gives you plenty of room then. You can feed them in one at a time. Sounds obvious, but first time I did this a long time ago, I didn't, and it was fiddly. I was trying to line them all up, getting them all up, like in the correct order. Correct order being like a order. There's a sequence they have to be in. Now, like I say, strip back plenty of insulation and feed them in one at a time. Don't don't just try and match them all up and push them in because it can be done and it's really fiddly and I wouldn't recommend it. Yeah. The reason I'm rewiring this Ethernet cable is because it's stopped working, so I've cut a bit back and a bit of the cable back because this cable runs from my router downstairs up through the ceiling into my office. And I've been playing around with computers a bit recently. I've taken the Ethernet plug out a few times. So I'm suspecting it's this end that's got the problem. Um, it was my old one, minus the outer sleeving. Yeah, I don't know. It's only a cheap Ethernet cable, Cat 6. I think it was Cat 6. Yeah, it was. But yeah, it's not the greatest. I mean, you can hardly tell what the colours are on some of these wires. Um, so yeah, so I've remade. Well, I'm in the process of remaking this connection. Hopefully that will sort it because according to my where is it? My cable tester, when I plug that in and put the other side in to the cable and run through the light sequence, some of them aren't coming on. So there's obviously a problem with my cable between my computer upstairs and the router downstairs. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing at the moment. So just to repeat, strip plenty of insulation off, and then you can manipulate the wires and feed them in one at a time. I've just got one in at the moment, but it's the correct first wire. One thing actually to mention, double check if you're going to do a crossover, it's going to be wired slightly different to if it's a straight connector to connector. So depending on what you're using it for, do some can look into that first. But this is just a cable for my router. Like I say, strip plenty of insulation off, and you can feed them in rather than taking a little bit of the outer insulation off and fiddling around. Okay, right. Anyhow, I'm going to get back on with this. Cheers. Bye. Yeah, another tip. I've got this salt magnifying glass here, battery powered. Yeah, there's a place for a soldering iron there. I'm using this because it makes it a lot easier to see what you're doing. Well, unless your eyesight's perfect. If you're young with perfect eyesight, or even old with perfect eyesight, you probably don't need this. But I'm finding it a lot easier using the magnifying glass that I've used for soldering components to see what the colours are. Especially as I said, some of these colours on this fairly cheap Ethernet cable, Cat 6, you can't actually tell the colours. Well, you can, but it's very faint. We've got orange and we've got a white and green stripe. You can just about make out the green on it. So having a magnifying glass will help. Okay, right, see ya. Yeah, me again. Right, I've almost finished now. Another tip for you is this is quite cheap Ethernet cable, as I've said. I've been wiggling it about. Sometimes I've had to take these back out again to get them in the correct holes because you haven't quite gotten through the, pushed them in, they're going through the wrong hole. Now I've been wiggling it about a bit, so there's potentially there's possibility that I've broken the conductor inside the sleeving. So what I'm going to do next, once I put the last one in, the brown, and yeah, let's be color code. Once I put that in, I'm going to strip back a bit more insulation, carefully, and pull these through a bit more, so that this. I was looking at the plug then, not the what was on the screen. Right, so that the wire, say this part here or this part here, is crimped by the connections when I crimp them with the crimp tool. Doing that because if I've broken the wires by wiggling them about, that won't matter because I'll be using fresh wire. It hasn't been wiggled about, if that makes any sense. That's the crimp tool, by the way. Right, okay. Yeah, I didn't really have a script for this video because I was working. I thought I'll start filming. So that's where I'm up to now. Right, back in a minute, probably. And turn the camera off again. Right, so there's my plug. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's going to win any awards, but there we go. I've checked all the colours are in the correct order against the chart. And next thing I'm going to do is crimp it in place. As I said, I stripped some insulation off, which I haven't videoed, and I've pulled it through. So the bit I was wiggling was up here, so it should hopefully be fresh cable. That was up previously underneath the insulation. I haven't been wiggling about, so hopefully it's going to work. I'm sure it will. Right, so I'm going to crimp it next. Can I actually balance this? No, it's not going to work. Yeah, you can tell I didn't plan to make. Where's my crimp tool? Can I video and crimp at the same time? Possibly not. Right. Yeah. I'll balance on top of the old what's the camera? Oh, there we are. Right. So I'm going to try it in a minute, see if it works. I'm sure it will. Thanks for watching. Yes, nice one. It's connected. It worked. Hooray. Right, yeah, that's good. Wired connection. It's working. Right, I'm going to try it out now. Cheers for watching.